Well, hi. I've been asked by a few people if I would do a video and show how I color my railroad ties for my O-scale layout. There's a lot of ways you can go about doing this. I like to personally start off with a base coat of classic gray by Minwax. It's a very, very good stain, penetrates the soft sugar pine ties very easily, and leaves a pretty nice base color to begin working with. I just take a little old brush that I've trimmed down, such as this right here. Just a regular basic cheapy paint brush from any of the big box stores. And I just begin brushing it on. It's going to go on pretty dark, but when it dries, it'll lighten up a bit. You want to make sure you coat all the areas that are going to be visible on your ties depending on how you're going to ballast your track. I always try to make sure to cover all the sides, because I personally am not going to be ballasting right up to the top of the ties. So you want to make sure you get in there and get all the areas that you can, so nothing shows through on you later. And when you start running a little thin, load your brush back up. You don't need to be bashful with this stuff. You want to get good uniform coverage with this initial color. Now, there's a lot of different ways to go about doing this. This is just what, quite frankly, works for me and what I had on hand, and fortunately gives me the final desired look I'm after. I'm pretty happy with it. Go back and get a little bit more stain on the brush and come right back to it. As you can see, it goes pretty quickly with the stain that I'm using. And again, just want to mix it in there, get some good coverage on all the areas of your ties, because there's nothing worse than forgetting to do a few sections of a tie, and then when you go to ballast it, you got some raw wood showing through. But we're getting some good coverage that way. Go a little bit further down on the section I have to do here. What's really excellent about this color, this classic gray, is if you're modeling some seldom used branch line tracks or some industry leads that see very, very minimal use, there's definitely not a lot of maintenance dollars that get put into those tracks. The railroads, the companies that they serve and so forth, keep their track serviceable, but that's about it. And you tend to find a lot of these aged, weathered out ties in just those types of locations. So in a lot of instances, you really could stop at this point once this is dried and allow that to be your final color for your ties. And again, it all just depends on what you're modeling, the look you're after, what you have available to you. It's the great part of this hobby. There really ultimately is no right or wrong way to go about doing any of this. And we're going to need to let that dry overnight, ensure we get a good penetration of the wood, and to ensure that it's dry and ready to accept the next step in the process that I use. And we'll be picking that up next in a few moments.